BPod Studios.
This is Jaylen Brown.
Jaylen Brown turns the corner. Finger roll is up and good. Score to the foul.
Listen to home of the Boston Celtics, 98.5, the Sports Hub.
It's the all-new way for you to wake up. Toucher and Hardy on 98.5 the Sports Hub.
Fred, hello. Hello. Human feces, urine, and debris. Ta-da. Hello. Yes. Hello. Jackpot. Hello. Hello.
I'm John Wallach on 98.5 the Sports Hub.
Hello.
How do you like that?
Hello. Welcome to the show. How humiliating.
How you doing, everybody? We're the Dropkick Murphys, sending our love, solidarity, and support out to all you teachers on the picket line. Thank you for all you do. Yeah, this woman's for the worker who toil night and day, by hand and by brain, to earn your pay, who for centuries long past will know more than your bread, have bled for your country and counted your dead.
Hey, good morning, everybody. Good morning. We are Toucher and Hardy, and we are brought to you by FanDuel.
Oh, she's dancing. Look. Happy 10th strike day, Fred.
Yeah, that's the Dropkick Murphys.
They got a theme, Fred.
I like how they brought tambourines to the protest. Yeah, it's the 10th school day they're missing, and now they're talking about in Newton. My daughter goes to Newton schools. I pulled my son out of Newton schools when they acted like complete pussies during the COVID. And the private schools miraculously all were back and removed masks first and everything else. That's why my son's one of the reasons that my son's in private school. A big reason. I had promised him I would reclassify him because they peed away his middle school years. So and they could have been back way quicker. And there was a big woe is me thing happening with them. I'm starting to get agitated, and one of the reasons is. And this is completely selfish, is that they're now talking about taking away April break. But the problem with April break is, money that I've spent. That I was going to take my daughter to Hilton Head, and it's just me and her. Mm. And I think I don't know if it was a gleeful or just a heads up going, they might cancel April break from someone. And that would cost me thousands and thousands of dollars in a trip because I can't have her miss it. I can't have her just take her out for April break on the account of they miss so much school now.
What is it?
She can't miss more school, especially she can't miss more school,
right?
Because it's not good.
When is the February break supposed to be? Same as everybody else after President's Day that week?
Yeah, and I figure that they go like, we can't cancel that, even though they really should cancel that one.
That's the one that should be canceled.
Yeah, that's the one that should be canceled, but who knows what they have to do that. Yeah, just stop dancing around. Like the teachers that my daughter went to a basketball clinic the last couple of days, props to George Moses, at her middle school, because the schools, the custodians and stuff aren't on strike, So, and she saw it, like, she loves, like, two of her teachers, and she's in 7th grade. Again, my son goes to private school, so it doesn't matter. But, and the teachers are, like, all, like, super sweet and nice about it. So, like, I like the teachers. I just think that, just to not get too in the weeds, because I know most of you don't care, because most of you don't live in Newton, but the, like, optics of, like, being, like, a library person that, is, you know what I'm saying, a library person, someone who looks like they, like, hang out at the library, and you're dancing around with a tambourine. Go after yourself, Woody Guthrie. You're not working in a coal mine where the owner of the mine is. And then also,
I got to push back a little bit, though, because the juggling club that I went to was at the community center that was attached to the library. So I don't want you to put everybody under one umbrella.
Well, you were at the community center attached to the library, which actually technically isn't the library. I would contend.
Okay.
I would contend the bathrooms were cleaner at the community center because there's nothing quite like a library bathroom.
We're good.
They're like Pollock paintings on the wall. It's like everyone's an amateur Pollock working in body waste.
Well, you say everybody's dancing around. Not everybody is dancing. There's one guy who was crying.
Yeah, but was he with the school board or the teachers?
He is with the...
Yeah, he was the school board guy. He was crying.
There's really only one kind of progress that matters right now. My kids aren't going to school again. This has gone too far.
That was a school committee member.
Yeah, I bet you that's not what he bargained for when he signed up for the old school community.
Yeah.
No, this is all this is right here is a stepping stone to city council or select board.
That's right.
And then you go state rep.
Yeah.
And then you go U.S. rep, and then the White House.
Exactly.
Everyone has to start somewhere.
But if there's an idea that like when they're dancing around, like everyone's like way to go, I got news for you. And I have friends. I was telling Hardy off the air. I won't get specific, but I have friends in Newton that are in public unions, and they're like, go after yourself. So,
other like municipal employees, maybe.
Yes,
Okay.
that are in unions.
All right, yeah.
That maybe that the teachers winning the battle, which is part of the danger from what I've heard from the cities, that you think that if you like give into one union, and if you don't think your guys' school districts are looking at this, teachers are looking at this strike and seeing how this goes. I mean, the Globe has an op-ed piece saying that the teachers should go back to work because it doesn't preclude them from negotiating. Like the negotiation doesn't end if they go back to school, and it doesn't seem like things are very far apart either in their negotiation. Like they're not like there's not like some ridiculous like chasm in in what they want and what like. I'm not even quite sure. I've expressed this to you guys, and I'm not over. I read about it a bunch. But I don't really understand why this is the hill they want to die on. Like, you would think that this would be like when you were severely underpaid or like they were
terrible work environment,
or they were cutting a bunch of jobs and stuff. And like the stories that the Globe has picked out with the teachers that they picked just sound like wimps. Like there's one woman, she's like, I had a heart problem because of stress. Well, I got news for you. If being a middle school teacher is doing that to you, like, what do you think? Like attorneys and like doctors and like, people that work, construction that are doing like intricate like wiring and stuff like that when it blows up, like the whole project's done. Like there's stress in it, and if you want to make money, it's stress. And I'm not taking any of your phone calls, so you can stop right now.
Oh.
I don't want to hear your side of the story at all. I did that 10 days ago when we talked about it.
It's like we had one the first couple of days where people called in.
No, I'm no.
You're all done with that.
In your complaining.
I'm thinking
you're too far in the weeds. And listen, if you want to die on this hill, that's fine. But don't expect everyone to be like, "Way to go!" That's what you got to do. That's what you got to do. I'll take Mike.
Okay.
Are you a teacher?
I am a teacher, not Newton, but you do realize it's the last resort to strike. Like,
no, I didn't realize that. It's the last resort.
Then why would you say go back to work?
Because you can go back to work and still negotiate.
Right. They can't because it wasn't working when they were working and trying to negotiate. That's why they went to a strike.
Okay, what is the big chasm? What do they need that is required for them to be missing school for all these days?
So they're fighting for more teacher aid support because paraprofessionals get like $12 an hour.
Okay, so how many jobs is that total in Newton? Because they want them for the elementary. They want them for one in every elementary school and one in every middle school. So how many jobs is that?
I don't know. You live in Newton, I don't.
Yeah, well researched, a-hole. You want to call up and say you can't stand me, you stupid prick? Go after yourself. That's like 40 jobs.
Do they want one in every classroom, or do they want one?
No,
in every
one
school?
in every school. Paul, go ahead.
Hey, good morning, Fred. So is crying the new strategy for every politician and elected official?
I don't know. There's a lot of crying. I don't know. The guy. The one thing I'll give the guy is that he probably is like, I didn't expect any. I didn't want to be on TV. Like when you join the school board, he's got kids at the school. He's probably just like, it might be like he might have gone like, hey, I want to do this. I want to be the I just want to like help out the schools, and now he's got to go on TV and talk. I don't know. Maybe the guy's in over his head, but I can't stand Fred.
So here,
I'm supposed to. So automatic. Here's what the deal is, man. If you go on strike and you don't have school for people's kids that are in school, that you're allowed to do that. I'm not like throwing eggs at you, but you can't expect everyone to be happy about it. Like, you can't expect everyone to be on. That's part of the chance you're taking by going on strike and not having the school. You're affecting people negatively. So you can do it, and that's fine. And I just went through and told you my daughter is very fond of a lot of her teachers. And I think that ideally they'd make more money. But Newton didn't pass a tax bill to give you guys more money. It didn't pass. They tried to do it, and it didn't pass. It needs to get voted on, and it didn't pass. The people of Newton decided not to pay you any more money. As far as, that would have made it easier if they would have passed the tax measure, then they would have paid you more money. But the people that kids go to your school didn't want to pay it and didn't want to give you any more money. So that's the way it goes. And by the way, you can strike for the rest of your lives. I'm not going over to your house and harassing you. You can do whatever you want. I don't flip you off while you're dancing around with tambourines either. But the idea that you're going to do this and everyone's going to like you for it is ludicrous. That you have to understand that. You have to understand that as a last resort, in quotations, that, and by the way, your pay is commiserate not only with the pay in the state, but pay in other wealthy suburbs of the state. Like, it's not like you're severely underpaid. And the big issue that Captain Can't Stand Fred called in with was the idea that they wanted the workers.
One social worker per building, 300 more hours of work per month for school aides, and salary increases 3 to 5% over the next 4 years. And apparently the school committee said it offered a 52% raise over the life of the next contract to these so-called Unit C workers.
And by the way, the Unit C workers, they want one per middle school and elementary school, which I can't imagine is over 40 jobs. And so anyway, I'm not talking about it anymore today, but you can't tell people that pay taxes that you're not working, stand around with tambourines for 15 days, and then go like, everyone love us. No, it's not happening. It's not happening. All right. Very good. All right. We will be back. Hardy, what will we talk about? What happened last evening?
A couple of returns in the NBA, former players visiting their old teams, and it went well for one, not for the other. All right? We'll just leave it at that, and we'll tell you and explain what happened next.
Very good.
BackstageCountry.com, your online home for all things country music. Wondering who made our list of the top 5 all-time queens of country music? Did Carrie Underwood make the cut? Find out now when you text Queens to 45911 and scroll through the list on BackstageCountry.com. Text Queens to 45911 to see the talented artists who rounded out our top 5 list.
One has no idea he's awake.
And it's not much of a surprise.
The other is just realizing what it takes to get up at 4:30.
Do I need to be here?
It's Toucher and Hardy.
Shows you how together this whole operation is.
On 98.5 The Sports Hub.
Did you catch a game last night?
All right, Hardy. This is all a surprise to me because none of our local teams played last night.
Well, surprised that other teams played. See, here's what happens, Fred. Every once in a while, the Celtics and Bruins won't play. Now, none of the hockey teams are playing right now, but just because the Celtics aren't playing other teams do play. Now, I don't ever watch any of those other games. I'm not trying to think of a good example. Greg Dickerson, famous for watching out-of-market late-night basketball. He loved it. He would tell me all the time about staying up late to watch teams like Portland take on Phoenix when neither team was interesting. Why? Because it's basketball, and I love it.
I love that. Like Lockhart's, I talk about this all the time, but Lockhart's dad consumed one season, or I think several seasons, always every Red Sox game. In some years, every preseason game. Ooh. Like that completist, like that is really something.
Wallach used to watch every Red Sox game.
I used to.
Not every 162.
No, not 162.
No, I'm talking 162.
Okay.
Like he didn't miss a game.
Every weekday game I used to.
Yeah, this is not I'm not being like cute about it. I'm talking about he watched every Red Sox game. Not in like literally every Red Sox game from tip to tail.
Goodness.
It was like what he did. It was his hobby. His hobby was watching Red Sox games.
Can't you? I can get it, though, for if that is your team. That is your hometown team, and you're going to watch it even if it's a bad game. What I don't get is somebody who's I just love the sport so much. The sweet science of midseason NBA basketball.
It's got to.
I have to stay up late and just give me a game. Give me any game.
All right,
Put
you know
it
what?
in my veins.
You know what it is? It's like me watching Seinfeld. Like every day I watch Seinfeld. I'm like kind of not watching it, but I just like that it's on. Do you watch it on Netflix? No. It has to be on TV.
It has to be on TBS.
It has to be on. Well, they don't play it on TBS anymore. It has to be on Comedy Central.
Comedy Central, that's right.
But it starts at 2:00 on Comedy Central on Wednesdays. They let that thing ride well into the evening.
You're talking to me like someone who doesn't consume this right along with you, Fred. We are miles apart, but so close in the heart in our homes, enjoying the couple hours of silence we get before everyone comes home and ruins everything.
Yeah.
Just you, the dog, and Seinfeld. It's lovely. It's delightful.
I get about an hour before the Uber starts for me, where if I get up from a nap at like 2, I have from like 2 to 3 until I start driving everywhere. And you better believe I got Jerry on.
But
Jerry and the boys, and Elaine.
I'll do it with like random golf tournaments. But only if it's a good, like tight race coming down the stretch on a Sunday. I'm not sitting there and watching the Farmers Insurance Open, Friday and Saturday coverage when it's, Bezaden Holt, dueling against Terrell Hatton. What do I care? I mean, honestly, it's not compelling.
Those are golfers?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
But if it comes down to it, final stretch on Sunday, I'm like, oh, golf is on. Let's see. Oh, he's got a 1-stroke lead, and he just knocked his drive into the rough on 17. I'll watch the last 30 minutes of coverage. But I don't go all in like some of these people do. You don't have to be all in, though, to understand and appreciate what was going on last night as Kevin Durant made his return to the Barclays Center. Now, people come to Brooklyn. They don't do anything. They leave Brooklyn, and it shouldn't be a big deal. It was a big deal for Brooklyn last night as they played a tribute video.
Which, by the way,
for Kevin Durant
Durant said 2 nights ago he didn't want it. So they gave it to him anyway.
Let's find out what happened in the game first.
Good dig there from Booker. Comes up with a steal. Durant in transition. Weaving, hooking and hitting. Kevin Durant has it all going. Mama loves it.
There we go. En route to a 136-120 win over Brooklyn last night.
His mother was there.
Oh,
and she was reacting.
I just wondered if
Hercules.
No, that wasn't a cute, like he may end the foul,
Oh, because I was
scratch my back with a hacksaw type of thing. That was his mother was actually there.
Because if I can just step in, like that's dangerous territory. You start talking about these guys' moms.
Yeah, I would like some of these very milquetoast sounding announcers to start incorporating Maxwellisms into their calls. Somebody get him a sandwich.
That's right. Somebody damn stepped on my toe.
Someone. Oh.
Pancakes.
I have several divorces. No, he's always talking about it. I think every time we've had him on, he's mentioned being divorced.
Yes. Does he do it during the games?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, he and Granny will get into that occasionally.
Yeah. Does he mention it during games?
Occasionally.
Occasionally?
There was one West Coast road trip I remember where we brought it up at least 3 times.
Yeah, okay, thank you. Because I
have experience with this.
I'm a big Celtics game on the radio in the shower guy, and he brings it up an awful lot.
Durant working on a triple-double for the night. My damn ex-wife is taking all my money.
No, it's just like about like, I forget it. It doesn't matter. But he talks about his ex-wife a lot. Go ahead. Or his ex-wives. I don't know.
Durant had 33 points, 8 assists, 5 rebounds. Once again, 136-120. Suns beat Brooklyn, who have lost a lot of games here recently. How are they doing there, Wallet?
They are not good.
No,
they're not
a solid basketball
They're
team.
19 and 28. But the key is, remember we were talking about Ben Simmons, Fred? And how Ben Simmons had almost posted a triple-double in 18 minutes, and he's a tease. Didn't play last night. Wants to get out.
Too much pressure. Too much
it wasn't
pressure
like it
with
was
the
a
Phoenix
back-to-back either. He had a day to rest.
Too much pressure.
Didn't play.
No, he's too fragile mentally.
We'll check in with Kevin Durant, asked about his return to Brooklyn after the game.
You've had a lot of notable returns in your career, but what did this one feel like tonight?
Yes, because for as good as he is, after he left OKC and went to Golden State, he got to go back there. After he left Golden State, he got to go back there. After he left Brooklyn, he got to go back there. Is there a better player in NBA history that is played for more teams in this amount of time?
Ooh, not that I can think of off the top of my head.
Because if you're that good, the teams do everything they can.
Well, Barkley played for Houston, Philadelphia, and Phoenix.
Yep, but not like in a quick span like this.
Yeah. The NBA was different too, but
it was different, and as good as Barkley was, I know you're not saying there. I would take Durant over Barkley.
Yeah, but they're both like elite top 50 players of all time.
Yeah, but Durant's going to be a top 10 scorer in the history of the league before it's all said and done.
Yeah, but do you take scoring from this era as seriously as you would from other eras?
Yeah, it's kind of like home runs in baseball. I agree.
Durant's better than Barkley, but I think but you said it like it was like a foregone conclusion. I think that Durant is better than Barkley, but I think that Barkley is maybe a top 40 player of all time.
You forget Barkley in the early 90s. I mean, he won the MVP award the year they made the finals and lost to the Bulls in the championship.
Yeah, I mean, just because he didn't win a title, he was really, really good.
So DOB,
he was a dream team guy. I mean, if you were on that dream team,
he was on the dream team. Yes,
but it's a weird, almost like role-playing role. It was, it's not. He doesn't have the same aura about him. Where Durant, it's like, with Durant on the floor with us, he can single-handedly change this game.
No, I disagree.
With
Phoenix, when he was
like that?
Phoenix, and
Phoenix especially.
That finals, it was they lost to the Bulls, right?
They lost to the Bulls in the finals in 6 games, but
Barkley was like unbelievable.
He was the MVP. He was the reason Phoenix was there. No, when Barkley played in Phoenix, not so much in Houston because he was over it. He was past it by then. But when he was in Phoenix, he was that guy.
But wins count for something. Rings do count for something.
No, yeah. I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just saying it's not.
It's closer. I agree
closer
with Fred.
than
it's much closer than
I think
you
you're making
yes.
it sound.
DOB said LeBron. LeBron's played for 3 teams over 20 years.
Yeah.
I mean, he went back to 1, so, 4. But
Durant has bounced around. No, I think, Hardy, you have a good point. For a guy like Durant, who is a first-ballot Hall of Famer, yes, he has played with more teams in a shorter shorter span of time than a lot of his peers.
It's all based on his insecurities too.
Yes,
like I don't know if there's ever been a more insecure superstar. That's for sure.
I can never get over the fact that you are up 3-1 against Golden State in your conference finals. You end up completely pooping down your own leg, and the first opportunity you get to leave Oklahoma City, you go there. It's just,
and then you're mystified why people look at you differently.
He's a great player and he's an impactful player. Is the heart of the champion? No.
Oh, it was cool, man. It's good to be back here. I love these rounds. I love playing in front of this crowd. Brooklyn's one of my favorite boroughs, and
yeah. You love playing in front of that crowd.
It goes Staten Island.
Okay. All right. Okay.
Did he say borough or bureau?
Brooklyn's one of my favorite boroughs, and
it's one of his favorite bureaus.
The FBI and Brooklyn.
The one that I have in my bedroom that holds my T-shirts and socks.
Right.
And then Brooklyn.
Excited we got the win. They beat us up at our place last time, so we wanted to come out here and avenge that loss. And I'm glad we was able to get to over 500 on this road trip. So that was a big concern of ours.
Wait till they lose in the conference semifinals to Minnesota. Then we'll see how good he is. See how happy he is.
Minnesota had a rough night last night too. We have another game to get to though, and that would be the Portland Trailblazers hosting the Milwaukee Bucks.
Yeah, Stock Rivers. Another game coaching Milwaukee.
And also local, big local coaching news, which opens up the door for perhaps more local coaching news. I mean, I want to get to that story. There's a domino that fell yesterday, an unexpected domino that fell locally and now one's can imagine it can run wild with what will go on. We will have that for you. Here are the headlines.
BackstageCountry.com, your online home for all things country music. Country music has so many generous artists who always seem to jump in to help those in need. We're spotlighting 5 who lead by example and lend a helping hand to charitable causes. See who made our list when you text GIVE to 45911. Text GIVE to 45911 and read all about it right now on BackstageCountry.com.
In the office, in your car, in your footy pajamas, this is how Boston sports fans start their day.
I bet you're just jealous.
Toucher and Hardy on 98.5 The Sports Hub.
We are Toucher and Hardy, and this hour in the Sports Hub is brought to you by FanDuel Sportsbook. Make every moment more with FanDuel. Hardy got me going. He played the Dropkick Murphys, did a song in support of the Newton teachers. My daughter goes to Newton Public Schools. I pulled my son out of Newton Public Schools and put him in private school after the disaster of COVID. And Zoe really likes her teachers and, all that. But if you're going to be protesting and, keeping kids out of school for this long, and now you're going to cancel spring break and things, you can't expect people to be super jacked about it. And this guy, I won't say his name because I don't want to hurt the guy, but he sent me an email that said, remember when you took a bunch of months off to get hammered after you were hammered on the air? Did you go to work? He's talking about in 2020. Obviously, I didn't take a bunch of time off to go to get hammered. I went to rehab.
Right.
But he sent it from a Salem Public Schools account, which is really dumb. Because he's attacking someone with, an addiction issue, on a public school account. And it turns out the guy's an elementary school teacher. Oh. I mean, you got to show a little bit more judgment.
Well, Fred,
I mean, how are you? And now you want me to have honestly, you want me to have, let's put it this way. You want me to have what do you call it? Like a guidance counselor, like a social worker at every school? To work with at-risk kids when you are throwing aspersions at people with addiction issues? I mean, that's, my friend, not smart, Salem Public Schools. Please check your elementary school teacher's emails. They're sending very hateful things.
Yeah.
And not accurate things and not well thought out things.
Yeah, it wasn't necessarily illegal or against, the city's code for you to miss that work.
Yeah, and I also
you did leave, and
have thousands of children depending on me.
And everybody was happy when you left. Thank God. We were cheering, oh my God, let's get this mess out of here for a little while.
Everything got better.
Great.
Everything got better.
Yeah, we had the tambourines going. We were doing dances. We were wearing funny hats.
The station got ratings like never before. It was called the Fred Factor.
It was universally praised when you took some time away.
It wasn't until my dad bought the station that I was able to come back. So if you have an elementary school kid in Salem Public Schools, I can only hope you don't have this gentleman as a teacher, and especially if you have a kid with a learning disability or a behavioral problem, because this guy is a real judgmental.
Or an alcoholic kid.
If you have an alcoholic, Imagine if he's just going to chastise you and make fun of your child if he caught them abusing substances.
Next time your kid wants to skip out of finger painting because he's got a meeting, he wants to hit the nooner, and he's told no because this guy has no empathy.
He says he wants to go to the shack at noon all right, I'm not. The guy's very fortunate. I'm not giving out his name, but I will not because he has every right to be angry at me. But I have every right to be angry at him.
Yes.
Or disappointed. Go ahead.
Do Portland Trailblazers fans have a right to be angry at Damian Lillard? Hardy,
wow, that's great.
You're an absolute panic. You're a caution. How did you do it? Well, I did it, and it's done. And Dame Lillard went back to Portland last night. And
Briss on the right wing. Blazers get back. Bucks will send it back out. Lillard launches a long one. Bullseye. Damian Lillard splashes his first long one through in the night. He's got 11 points now.
So this was Dame Lillard with the Milwaukee Bucks, of course, playing back in Portland, his former team. There, the video tribute makes sense. He is a Portland Trailblazer. He will, while fans are, I'm sure, sad that he's gone, you have to recognize what he is to that team, that town.
2 or 3 best players in the history of the franchise.
Right. I mean, it's it. That's who he is.
Yeah.
And with Milwaukee, now he came back with Doc Rivers and lost to the Trailblazers 119-116.
Portland has more than twice as many losses as wins.
Well Portland's not trying to win. Portland's not trying to win this year.
No.
I mean, I'm sure they tried to win the game.
No.
But the team has not been designed this year to be a good team.
Correct.
Yeah, I mean, that's why they traded Lillard and got a bunch of people to get rid of in exchange. All right.
So Doc Rivers now 0-2 as head coach of the Milwaukee Bucks.
It's going to take a while to learn that intricate defense.
I'm just thinking, oddly enough, they can't play defense for Doc any better than they play defense for Adrian Griffin. Interesting.
Yeah, and Doc seemed to think that it was all very fixable and quite obvious what was going wrong with that team, and it's reasonable to think it's going to take more than 2 games to fix it, but so far it has not looked any better, and as a matter of fact, for a team that had a very good record when they fired their head coach and brought in Doc Rivers, things have gotten a little bit worse. Fred, you mentioned a big coaching shakeup here locally.
It was announced during the Joe Show, which I'm glad it was announced during the Joe Show because Joe is the only person on during the day that would have, middays. But I'm glad it didn't happen during Felger and Maz.
Yes. Boston College football coach Jeff Hafley has left BC. He's taken a defensive coordinator job in the NFL. Reason being, wants to coach football again in a league that is still about football. This is according to Pete Thamel. He says college coaching has become fundraising, NIL, recruiting your own team and transfers. No time to coach football anymore. A lot of things he went back to college for have disappeared.
Yeah, there's no building a program anymore, especially in football and basketball. I don't know how it is in hockey, but yeah, you build for 1 year, and then 30 people left, 30 people come in. You have to spread money around. It's not anything like it used to be.
Let's have fun. Because Hafley left, I know why he left, because he would probably wants to. And it's and I do believe it's part of the reason Saban left is that the NIL stuff is really a pain in the ass.
Yeah.
But more than that, the transfer portal is a huge pain in the ass.
Oh yeah.
By the way, the Tennessee football program's in trouble now for NIL stuff. Imagine someone's taking advantage of those rules. But the transfer portal is not only do you have to recruit, high school kids, but now you have to recruit your own kids on your team to keep them on the team.
Just getting them there isn't enough what it used to be.
I mean, Look at Bo Nix and Michael Penix. I mean, they're going to be, 2 of the top 6 quarterbacks taken in the draft, and they both transferred after many, many years at other schools. I mean, Penix was at Indiana and Nix was at Auburn. I mean, you're losing guys like that. So I guess it's a huge pain in the ass. But now let's think, because you put this in a note, John, is that I don't know if he can, but if Bill O'Brien, who apparently everyone, and Bill O'Brien seems like someone who talked to the media a lot, like behind the scenes, because everyone seems to like him and feel pretty comfortable talking about his wants. If his big deal was he feels that this area is home and you have college coaching experience, wouldn't you want that BC job?
He rescued. Remember how good a job he did after Paterno, that disaster at Penn State. He rescued that program.
Oh, that's a home run for BC.
Yes.
But BC can pay him.
But the other part of it is, I mean, look, the argument, the pushback I got back online last night was, well, he's the Ohio State offensive coordinator now. He's not taking that job. I would think, since it's still early in the cycle here, I mean, we're not to the summer, we're not to spring ball, we're not to anything. He got the job, but he hasn't do anything. He's not recruiting anybody.
Yeah, Ohio State's got to let him go.
If you get a head coaching job,
they got to let him go.
FBS school. I mean, I understand BC isn't exactly a plum position, but like you were saying, if you want to stay here, it's a head coaching job, you can spit shine your image and prove that you can be a leader of men again. And ultimately, I don't think Bill O'Brien wants to be a coordinator the rest of his life. I mean,
if Bill O'Brien goes to BC, there's no reason they shouldn't win 9 or 10 games a year. There's no reason, John.
I hope you're right. Yeah. I mean,
they're in the ACC. It's so Clemson and Florida State are who you have to contend with. And say even if you lose those 2 games, you're still winning 10 games.
Yeah, there are other programs like North Carolina go up and down, but those are the only 2 real monsters you got to worry about.
And Florida State's not always a monster anyway. So
just recently,
and Clemson wasn't great last year. So there's no reason you shouldn't be able to win in the ACC if you have a big name coach like that. But what is interesting is just take everything on face value. What if Belichick? Seriously,
I like it. Yeah.
Okay, seriously, if Belichick just loves football this much, he just loves football. Like, it's really a wholesome love of football. Like, he loves leading men. He loves being a football coach. And how many times have you heard the word Nantucket associated with him nationally and locally? Seriously, how many times have you heard Nantucket? Like, he won't take the Charger job like he was going to get offered it, but, like, he won't take the Charger job because it's too far from Nantucket. Like, Nantucket, and I guess he has a place in Florida. It feels weird saying it, but I guess he also has a place in Florida. Like, we should know.
Yeah.
But say he feels connected to the Northeast. And he's not doing it for ego. He just loves football. Right?
Mm-hmm.
In quality of life in football. Imagine if Bill Belichick take that BC job. Hachi Machi.
That'd be fantastic.
Wouldn't that be fantastic?
It would be. For a variety of reasons, especially for this show.
Well, it's crazy.
Oh, everyone would love him, John. Everyone would love him. I'd love him.
Yeah.
He could do whatever he wanted.
Yeah.
He could sit there and go blah, 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 blah.
That's right. Give me a reason.
Sell out every game.
Yes.
They'd
give me a reason to watch BC football again. And I don't
It's in my neighborhood, so I go all the time.
Well, what you said about like the whole, area and staying in the area, that was almost immediately dismissed at the beginning of it. Now, I was dismissive of it when it came to Tom Brady. He's talking about he wants to be near his kids and all that stuff. I'm like, you know what? For a player, I think it's a bit easier. You don't have to be there year round. You have lots of time off. You can fly back and forth. You can do stuff as a coach. We hear about these guys putting in the 18-hour days and all this stuff. But for Brady, I was like, well, whatever. Wherever he would go, he can figure it out with his kids. For Bill, his kids are still here for all we know. If both of his sons end up still somehow staying in the area, and he's got the Nantucket place, which I don't discount, he's been here for a really long time.
Mm-hmm.
This isn't a Tom Brady situation where, even when he was living in Brookline or Chestnut Hill, he had the house in L.A. and he's got the place in Florida and he's got New York. I don't think of Bill as really being anywhere other than here. And if he has any desire to stay here, okay, I can't completely dismiss it. I don't think it happens, but
I don't think it's going to happen either. But it would be awesome if it did, and not because of like I root for chaos or any stupid crap. No, but because it would be like I would really respect him if he did it, because it would show I'm not doing this for ego. I'm not doing this to get some record that only I really care about. I truly love football. I want to lead men. I think that I can make them better football players and I can improve their lives. And this is a job I'll never get fired from, like with the amount of hassles I'll have to put up with, because they would leave him alone like you never imagined.
Oh, you were talking about Saban kind of being the GM of the Alabama football program and didn't do a lot of the recruiting unless he had to close. Can you imagine Bill having to close on a recruit, a 5-star recruit?
You know what I would do if I was Bill Belichick and I was closing in on a 5-star recruit?
I know.
I'd come in. I would have one of my kids come in with all my rings.
Yeah.
And then a picture of Tom Brady, and I would go like, yeah. And then go, you're a kid in high school.
Yeah.
You don't want to come play for me? Good.
I'll just get the next guy.
Freedom rocket you.
Just go get the guy down the street.
If Belichick takes the BC job, they have the number 2 recruiting class, number 3 recruiting class in the country immediately. All right, let's break. We are running on a new clock, baby. Don't worry about it.
Hey!
We are cooking with clock.
All right.
We'll be right back.
BackstageCountry.com, your online home for all things country music. Award-winning movies often have incredible soundtracks, and many of those have gone on to become country gold. We've picked our top 5 country songs that have been nominated for an Oscar. Text Oscar to 45911 to see if your favorite made the list on BackstageCountry.com. Text Oscar to 45911 and we'll send the link straight to your phone.
All right, don't talk. Don't talk. Don't talk. Wiki woo. Wiki woo. The pressure of being Linkin Park's DJ. Wiki woo. I told you, Incubus played I Wish You Were Here. I get Incubus clips all the time, obviously, on the account. I was hammered and interviewed him one time. And they were dicks to me. That it's Wish You Were Here from Conan O'Brien, and it's so funny because the pretentious singer who's got terrible lyrics, he's a real dummy, is sitting there singing like so earnestly, like he's got the mic stand up and he's holding the mic stand, and right over his right shoulder, the only musician you can see is Wiki Woo.
DJ Han.
When did they tell you to get that DJ there, Incubus?
Yeah.
You did whatever the label said.
I don't think we need to devote any more time to this story unless we want to devote the whole show to it, because it is maybe the most confusing transaction that I can remember in sports. Yesterday it was announced the PGA Tour has a new financial partner.
Sure, you can. Yeah, you can. I don't know any. I know what you're talking about. Maybe you can explain this to us.
The Strategic Sports Group, which is a consortium of various investors, including John Henry. They announced that they will join the PGA Tour in a new for-profit venture, PGA Tour Enterprises. Now, Golf Digest, the publication of record when it comes to golf, says, what exactly does that all mean? Well, no one really knows. They did a long-form article yesterday trying to break down what's going on with the PGA Tour, starting with, wait a second, I thought they joined with the Saudis. Well, they tried to, and they have the framework of a deal in place, but all it really got them to do was drop the lawsuits against each other, the LIV and the PGA Tour, and since then, nothing has happened. One of the major pushbacks, Fred, has come from like the government saying, hey, you guys were suing each other, claiming monopoly and anti-business practices. How is this not the biggest monopoly of all time? Not to mention the fact it is now essentially the Saudi Arabian Public Wealth Fund that will own professional golf all over the world. We don't think that's such a great idea. So that has stalled. Also, does this mean the deal isn't happening? No, not necessarily. So what is this deal with the Strategic Sports Group? Why is John Henry and a few other people putting up billions of dollars for golf? Well, they're trying to help the PGA Tour, and this is going to house the PGA Tour's commercial businesses and all their rights and those of the DP World Tour. So it's splitting things a bit that will maximize profits but still allow the PGA Tour to operate as a nonprofit. It is the most confusing, like,
So the PGA Tour doesn't pay taxes?
moving of money like the NFL.
The PGA Tour doesn't pay taxes? Are they a sanctioned nonprofit?
They are a sanctioned nonprofit, from what I understand.
And you're all for that, probably.
No,
because they're giving so much joy to so many people.
Well, I think it operates in much the same way that the NFL does, which the NFL, at least for a while, and maybe still does, is like essentially a nonprofit. But the owner's profit, but the league itself, there are different divisions of the NFL. You have teams, you have owners, you have players, but this one sanctioned entity that kind of oversees it gets to operate as technically a nonprofit. It's all very, very confusing. So, how much is John Henry involved? This is the locally, like, what does it all mean?
How much is he involved with the Red Sox? Not an inch.
Damn right.
Right. So, I mean, you got the Fenway Sports Group now, which is already, what do they do? They own the Red Sox. They're the Fenway Sports Group. Liverpool FC, the Penguins, a NASCAR racing team, and now they're dumping huge amounts of money into professional golf. So,
$3 billion. $3 billion headed to this deal.
He's really wealthy.
Yeah. And they won't spend an extra $20 million on the Red Sox salary.
Thank God someone said it.
My God.
Matt McCarthy with your headlines. This just in, Henry's the buffoon.
So maybe it means that the LIV and PGA Tour won't officially merge and the Saudis won't own golf all over the world, if you care about that. Maybe it means the LIV will continue to operate as a separate thing, and the players are still going over there. Terrell Hatton was the latest. John Rahm was the big one earlier this year. He says, I'm going to the LIV. And maybe, players will still continue to defect, but this should infuse more money into the PGA Tour and entice players to stay with the PGA Tour as opposed to leaving for the LIV.
Awesome.
All right, there you go. You've got it explained to you by the man himself, Hardy. Yeah. We have the Bankroll Bunch coming in the studio. There will be no commercials here.
Hey!
Well, there's something here.
No, it's just the headlines.
Just the headlines.
So it's just content.
Nice.
This is just full. This is like your midday days.
Commercial-free segment on the way.
Yeah, baby. Here you go. No commercials, I swear to God.